What up, YouTube? Ed WeskerGriff coming back with my YouTube Hall of Fame ballot for 2020. The voting is going to be ending soon. I think it ends in 5 days. So if you have not voted yet and you have not made your ballot, I highly encourage everyone to participate in this process. I feel like the YouTube Hall of Fame is a lot of fun, and I feel like it's a great vessel for helping people discover new channels because the community over the last couple years, especially I would say in 2019, has really exploded. The community is definitely is at its biggest point it's ever been for as long as I've been on here. So it's really blown up on here. There's so many new channels, so many people getting into making videos. So it's good for people who stumble across the YouTube Hall of Fame to, discover these channels that are being nominated and to ingratiate themselves more into this incredible, amazing community that we have here on YouTube. So before I get into showing off the channels that I'm nominating this year, I do want to go back and look at my previous voting history. Now, this is the third year that the YouTube Hall of Fame is going on, and if you look at the ballot, my ballot from the first year, the X at the end symbolizes a channel that got in. So as you can see, the first year that we did this, I only successfully voted in 2 channels, which was AR Falk 77 Michael and Tops 85 401 Nate. So all the other channels that I voted for did not make it in that year. And if you look at all those channels, they have one very important factor that links them all, and that is longevity. Longevity is extremely important to me when deciding who to vote for being a YouTube Hall of Famer. Now, I've changed my criteria a little bit this year to be a little more inclusive, but for 2 straight years, longevity was pretty much the major component for my decision on who to pick. Now, for the second year, I voted for more channels that did make it in. Aaron Davis made it in. Tommy Goff 85 made it in last year, which I was super thrilled to see because Tommy Goff is an absolute pillar and legend of this community. Then Ricky Russo made it in, and Joey Brings It. So one thing I do want to talk about real briefly before, again, showing my nominations is that I watched a ton of ballot videos, and there's been a great overwhelming response for the YouTube Hall of Fame. I think there's been over 110 plus ballots, but there's been some ballot videos that I've absolutely, I'm sitting there watching it and I'm just, clapping my hands because I feel like they really get me and they get where I'm coming from. But I don't want to try to sound like I'm being a dead horse, but longevity is just very paramount. I feel should be paramount for a lot of people when deciding on who's going to be in the YouTube Hall of Fame, because this community has been around for a very long time. It's been around since around like 2006, 2007. So over 10 plus years of card videos on YouTube, and there's so many people that built this community, and we're enjoying the fruits of what they started and what they built. And some of them are still here, some of them are no longer on YouTube. They may be on other social media sites, but we cannot forget our history. And there's so many people out there that deserve recognition that have done so much. And I feel like a lot of the newer people, people who may have started a couple years ago or, within the last 3 to 4 years, aren't aware of these OGs. And they need to start finding out these channels, because some of them still have channels around where their whole video library is up, so you can see videos from back in the day. You can, you know, experience a card video back in 2009 or 2010 and, you know, see what the community was all about back then, and, you know, see how videos were done. But yeah, that's just a little bit of my different opinions. And let's get into my ballot. So I'm going to talk about every channel and why I nominated them, and I'm going to leave their links down below for you guys to check out. So the first person I'm voted for on here is Mr. Den1013 Amish Denny. His first video was in March of 2009, so that's 10 plus years of Denny being on here, doing his thing, showing off cards, being an active participant in this community. And Denny's still very active on the site. I know he watches a lot of videos, leaves a lot of comments. He's very active on, you know, Facebook as well. But Denny has done so much over the years, whether it's sending out hundreds of care packages, doing various trades, and bringing a lot of awareness for MS. I know back in the day he used to do a lot for the MS walk with his wife Susie. So Denny is just a absolute pillar of this community, a guy who deserves recognition, and a person that I hope a lot of the newer channels check out and find out what Denny's all about, because he's a really solid person, solid dude, and without a doubt a surefire Hall of Famer in my book. Next is a person that I guarantee a lot of the new guys probably met, because this guy's always at a card show, especially in the national. I think he has a consecutive national streak of going, but it is Everett Wenzel 888. So his first video was in 2009, so we're looking at 10 plus years as well. And Everett is always at the national. I met him for the first time in Atlantic City in 2016. Got to talk to him a lot more in Cleveland and Chicago in the follow-up years, but I believe Everett's been to every single national since Baltimore. But absolute legend of the community, real personable guy, super friendly, hilarious. I get a lot of enjoyment out of his football postings. And he has an insane Rob Gronkowski collection, diehard Patriots fan, and just an overall great guy. Somebody who, like I said, if you've never, for whatever reason, are not familiar with Wenzel 888, check out his videos. They're all up there on YouTube. But keep the volume down a little bit, because my boy Everett, he has no filter. He says it like it is, and you're going to get a lot of F-bombs in his video. But check him out. Awesome person. And then next is a guy who's extremely active here in the community, AmishDaveArcher. His first video was in May of 2010, so 9 plus years. Amish Dave's still doing videos, pretty much weekly videos. I know he does a lot of breaks recently with his daughter Naomi, but Dave, to my knowledge, is the first person on here to do rummage videos. He used to do videos, you know, back in 2010, 2011, just going through random card boxes, showing off random cards and rummaging. And they're a lot more popular now, but like I said, as far as I know, Dave is one of the first people on here to do that. And, you know, Dave's also one of the first people to do, you know, 30 to 35 minute videos. You know, back in those days, a lot of mail day recap videos and a lot of card videos, break videos, what have you, they would only be around like 5 to 10 minutes. But Dave, his mail day recap videos were always 30 plus minute long, so he always had a very unique style that he brought, and now it's pretty prevalent in the community to do very long videos. But Amish Dave, one of the first people on here to do that, and surefire Hall of Famer in my book. Next is a guy who's been doing it for long as well, Steve, Purple GT22. Started around pretty much the same exact time as me making videos, 2011 of February, 8 plus years. And Steve, I've seen him grown a lot throughout the years. I've known him for a very long time. Obviously, since we started making videos around the same time, you know, we've been subbed to each other for so long. got the chance to meet him in person at the Philly show. Just a very great, generous dude, and he's done a lot in those 8+ years, where it's sending out, hundreds of care packages, hooking people up. I mean, Steve has done so many giveaways over the years, easily over like 20+ giveaways over that time. And he's just a really, really honest guy. He's extremely authentic, and he's a great person to get to know. So Steve, Purple GT 22. Next is Brad 8671. His first video was in 2012 of April, so 7+ years. Brad, one of the best in this community at having case break and group break knowledge. Brad used to do videos semi-regularly talking about, what products to go after in group breaks, what teams specifically to take, and the best value team to take in a break. And Brad had an incredible streak going on of picking teams in breaks, and just doing incredibly well in various group and case breaks. I know even Tommy Goff would mention it from time to time in his videos about how, Brad was pulling fire. And sure enough, Brad always had a knack for finding the value team and picking it. So his group break and case break knowledge is, unparalleled to anyone that I know. And Brad also does a fantastic job with his football videos. He used to do off-season videos, free agency videos, season outlooks for various teams, and, playoff predictions. Brad, if you're watching this, I hope you do a Super Bowl video. Love to hear your thoughts about both teams. But Brad always kills it, and very, very knowledgeable collector and top-notch human being. So Brad 8671, check him out. Next is a guy who, honestly, I was a little surprised on how long he's been here. He's been on here for 10+ years, but he didn't start making card videos until 2012, and that is BRoff6 Brian. Now, his first card video was in November of 2012, 7+ years. But Brian has actually been on YouTube, the website, a lot longer. Like I mentioned, he's been on here for like 11+ years. So his first couple of videos are concert videos from Kid Cudi. And then he also did several different video game videos. But like I said, first card video was in 2012, where he's showing off none other than a Hank Greenberg card. And throughout the years, Brian, the knowledge he brings for vintage cards and vintage rarities, especially in regards to Hank Greenberg, is unparalleled. I've learned a lot through his videos. But another thing that, separates Brian, I feel, from the rest of people here on YouTube, especially in those days, was Brian was always extremely passionate about SGC. And, back in 2012, back in 2013, there wasn't really anyone talking about graded cards. And if there was, it was mostly PSA or BGS Beckett. So rarely nobody talked about SGC, but Brian was a beacon for them. Always was talking about how good SGC is and their criteria and, their integrity. And, SGC has gained a lot of popularity over the years. And, I can't help but think that, BRoff plays some influence in that here on YouTube. But awesome person. Got the chance to meet Brian various times. Have gone to a couple shows with him. And also another thing I'll say about Brian is he has such a meticulous process when evaluating vintage cards at a show. Really liked seeing his process at the National when I was walking around with him during the show, and seeing him, look at the card with a fine-tooth comb and really evaluate the card. It was really fun to see him do that. So BRoff6 Brian, without a doubt, a Hall of Famer in my book. Next is a guy that I have known for a ton of years on here, and it is Dave's Midlife Card Crisis. So his first video was in August of 2013, so 6+ years Dave's been doing it. You know, Dave has been a big part of this community, whether it's doing contests, doing giveaways, hooking up people with awesome just becauses, doing so many trades. And then I know on other social media sites, he's moderated groups, Piff Nation, you know, doing a just because kind of system out there for people to help others expand collections. So Dave has done a lot. Giants fan, Mets fan, and, you know, I'm a Phillies fan, so that says something when a Philly fan is nominating a Mets fan. Now, come on now. But Dave, awesome person, super humble, very outgoing, very personable, and just a great overall dude. And looking forward to hanging out with him at the National in Atlantic City this year. But I'm going to leave his link down below. Check him out. Dave's Midlife Card Crisis, Surefire Hall of Famer. Okay, so these next 3 channels that I'm nominating don't fit my longevity criteria, but like I mentioned earlier in the video, want to try to be a little more inclusive this year. So a lot of these guys have only been around for 1 to 2 years, but I feel that the impact that they have made on YouTube is warranted for a selection. So here they are. The first one here is A League of Their Own. So her first video was in 2018 of February. So we're looking at a little over 2+ years. And Caitlyn does an incredible job on her videos. She's extremely passionate about sports cards and about her hobby. And she does, like I said, an incredible job on her videos. She's gotten a lot of crazy in-person autograph successes, whether that's from Justin Verlander or Miguel Cabrera. And, you know, I appreciate what she brings to YouTube because there's not many females that are in the community. And she just sets an amazing example of, you know, being a diehard collector. And she does a lot. So I feel like she deserves the recognition. She should make it in this year, and I'm glad to see that she is getting the support she deserves because awesome YouTuber. So Caitlyn, A League of Their Own. Next is another, the next 2 channels are honestly channels I really, that don't need my vote. They're pretty much are slam dunk to get in, but I feel they are important. So this guy's the top vote getter, Blue Jacket 66. So his first video was in 2018. And a lot of people have talked about what Dave has done, but Dave, without a doubt, is easily one of the most generous people I've seen here in the community, has given away so much to so many people, and we're talking about some insane monetary giveaways where he's been giving away very high-grade vintage, insane autographs, and, you know, being very, just extremely generous. And he's also educated a lot of people. I know he did a video where he was talking about, you know, how to spot a fake 1952 mantle. And in this era of prevalent fraud that's going on with PWCC and also, you know, trimmed doctor cards finding their way into PSA slabs, I feel a video of that is paramount to educate people on what to look for, and Dave is bringing that education to the community on what to spot, on how to spot a fake. And also another thing I'll say about Dave is he has educated me a lot personally on food and beverage vintage cards, something that I knew nothing about. So I feel he deserves it as well. And then the last person is this jabroni, Mr. Philmington. So his first video was only in October of 2018, so 1+ year. I kind of can't believe I'm voting for someone that hasn't really been here that long, but Philmington has made such a titanic impact here in the community, whether that is educating people with common sense on modern cards. And I'm very big on modern cards, and it annoys me to an extent when people you know, try to put down modern cards, or they'll talk about various players that, you know, didn't amount to anything. Like, They'll bring up like Greg Jeffries or Todd Van Poppel or some other scrub that didn't make it. But Philmington with his speculation videos, and I really, really greatly appreciate that Philmington says speculation, and he's not like all these other pretenders saying invest in this, invest in that, invest in Roberto Ozuna, and invest in blah, blah, blah. They're setting up people to fail saying that. But Philmington says speculation. He brings statistics. He brings real life market research into it. And, you know, he tells you the buy low points, and he tells you, hey, if you want to get this guy, here's a very affordable card to get of this person. Buy low, don't go heavy. And I really, really appreciate that sentiment. Again, it's bringing common sense into modern sports card collecting, which I greatly appreciate. And also another thing Philmington does is he has the repackaged product of the rookie card explosion box, which has just generated a ton of content within the community and on the website with people making videos. But it is a very solid repackaged product. And, you know, most repackaged products out there are really, really bad. But the rookie card explosion box has very good consistency, and you consistently see with every volume people pulling really, really great cards out of there. I know B-Rolf 6 pulled the 1993 Topps Gold Derek Jeter that he sent in for grading, and it came back a PSA 10. So over a 1K card came out of the rookie card explosion box. So I don't think most repackaged products could say that, but Philmington can. So those are my votes. Those are my 10 people. Again, you know, there's a lot of other people I would have liked to have picked, and there's so many people that deserve recognition, but those are the ones that I chose, and I hope everyone out there gets their vote in, participates, and becomes an active part in this process. So that's all I got for you guys. Have a great one. Take care, and rock the vote.